The next game is A Tale of the Sun, which was nominated by @B Blackford on Twitter, developed by Artdrink and published by Artdrink in Japan, Sony Computer Entertainment of America in North America. Earliest release date and territory was April 26th, 1996 in Japan. Who here has played Tale of the Sun?
I played it when it first came out. Yeah, Kyle played it recently. Thank God for him. I haven't played it in
Who here has played Tale of the Sun for more than 10 minutes?
I assume that's just myself and Jonathan here. We're the only.
Yeah.
I think we're the only ones that gave it a shot. It's
I saw a picture. At least I'm honest.
Let me give you a summary. Of Tale of the Sun. It's the quintessential caveman simulator, because I think that's pretty much the only one, I believe.
I'm gonna stop you right there, because from what I looked at, this basically looks like Proto Ark Survival Evolved.
Whoa.
The thing about this game is when you read descriptions, you look at it, you go, oh, it's gonna be like this. The thing is, you don't build anything in this game. Yeah. You don't do anything, basically. You play as a randomly face-generated caveman. There's a lot of random faces, which is actually probably my favorite part of the game, because they've got like terrifying, like purely black shadow face with like glowing eyes, and they've got like tattoos all over, and they've got bird faces. Really cool stuff.
And like, that screen has like weird angels hovering around on it as you're generating them.
Yeah, like you've got the angels are like the spirits, which are, I don't know, they're not you, but they kind of only show up when you pick a character or when you're about to die, because there's no life bar in this game. It's just if you're drowning or if you haven't eaten food recently, it'll start to float above your head like, watch out, you're gonna die, and then you die and it carries you off, and you explode into polygons, as was the tradition in 1996. So, yeah, you start the game and you have no idea what you're doing, because that is how the game works. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a manual for this one. I looked around for one.
I've got one lying around somewhere. It'll take me a little while to find it. Yeah, I still have the original.
We can do without.
But there was no scanned one online. But as far as I know, it doesn't really tell you that much. Basically, you run around, you eat food, which raises your different stats, and then you beat up animals, and you also have the ability to drastically increase one of your stats temporarily, kind of, with this like tattoo boost system. And that's pretty much all you do. Your goal is to get a powerful weapon by kind of waiting for the game to give you a powerful weapon. And then you beat up mammoths. And
it has a day-night system, right?
It has a complete day-night system, and it has one of the funniest day-night systems ever, because in most games, when your character's tired, it'll tell you need to sleep. In this game, your character will get lockjaw mid-jump, fall into the ground, and immediately start sleeping.
Yeah, wherever you are.
Yeah, wherever you are. Even if it's water, you'll just go head first into the water. It will wake you up, though, if you're in a position to drown, or if you get attacked by enemies.
Well, you fell asleep.
Everything about this game is so
great.
Goddamn. Like, this game is like visually a strange like mashup of something like Bubsy 3D and like Animal Crossing Wild World. Like the texture, like the planes kind of roll in, like.
Well, you cannot rotate the camera from the front-on perspective except to kind of angle it up or down. You can't do a 360 camera, so you're always kind of awkwardly walking towards the camera sometimes.
The whole thing looks like a Dire Straits video.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Oh man, that's.
But in terms of genre and looking at all the games in whatever genre this is, it is one of the first. It is one of the precursors to this whole I live in Japan and I hate my life because I'm around people all the time and I have all these social pressures. What if I was just not in a human world? What if I just got to beat up dinosaurs like in Monster Hunter? Or if my best friend was a crocodile like in Animal Crossing? Or if I just kill that frog and eat it like in Metal Gear Solid 3? This came before all of that.
You do get to kill animals and eat them in this. That's a big component.
I think it is one of the first I want to camp forever and never see another human being games.
It's a couple, it's a couple years after, say, Harvest Moon. But
Harvest Moon, very social structure though. Like you've got.
It's true. I mean, but so is Animal Crossing. So
Animal Crossing, the way I play it, I don't talk to anybody. I dig holes around everyone's house, and I get as much crap as I can. I just eat all the fruit and make everyone poor and destroy the economy by being a glutton. So it depends on how you play it. But you're right. There's absolutely potential social. Yeah, but very bad.
And if you're going to be a douche about it, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, this game is kind of they don't describe it really, but it's kind of a pseudo sequel to their Artdink's previous game, Aquanaut's Holiday, in the sense that you just kind of go around an environment. And I think one of the criticisms of that game was that you didn't do anything. So they went, all right, fine, we'll add a really arbitrary you go kill mammoths to get their bones to build a tower goal to the game. And that was just them being like annoyed that people were like, what, like you want to do something in our do nothing simulator? Well, fine, have a dumb objective and get off my back.
Funnily,
I'm gonna fantasize about living in like caveman days.
Yeah, that's all they wanted. And Pikmin was another one in this genre. Pikmin was originally going to be a caveman game, and I heard they were like, I don't know, Tale of the Sun did it so well.
What were you doing in the caveman version of Pikmin? You were just like slapping other cavemen, like, "Hey, follow me!"
The bulborbs, the things that try to eat you, were Tyrannosauruses, and that's a good question, though. I don't know if you just were an evil bastard
out of the ground.
Hey, well, I will say that that is something that's kind of a shame about this one is you really don't get to, and I mean, like on a basic level, interact with the other cavemen, because you can develop a tribe by raising your propagate stat, and you'll have like 10, 15 cavemen that you can play by dying and choosing a new one, essentially. But you very rarely see them, and you can't make them follow you and go beat up an ostrich together or kill a monkey. Like, it's very solo experience.
There is no command, hey, let's get together and kill a monkey. that should be a menu option there.
I was very disappointed.
I don't blame you. But it was not that much worse than Cubivore in that way.
I'd say
Cubivore really pushes a like that Evolve and sort of like Evo and those sort of games where you're like you build stats and then you become different things, kind of.
Yeah, but by just having a third flap for a leg. Sometimes.
Yeah, but then your movement changed. I love that about Cubivore. How he has like flaps that kind of make you bounce around. It's really cute.
It is, but it wasn't like, I morphed into a whole new creature. At least it didn't feel that way to me. It's just like,
no,
I got handicapped.
Don't really. But in this one, you're either a male caveman or a female caveman. They're essentially identical.
Sure.
But and the thing is, the main thing about this game is it is way too early for a walking sim, but that's basically what they really were going for, like just a. Like you mentioned, just before Metal Gear Solid 3 to Proteus, this really is kind of Proteus-ish. Like, it's just like, I'm just going to walk around and look at things, but my goal is to eat food and kill, like, animals.
Get those bones later.
And in a way, yes.
Yeah, what they should have done is I would have liked acknowledgement of the earlier characters. Like, I would have liked if, like, the very first character you were, like, the first cool thing you did, you became the god of all the subsequent characters.
You know what I mean? Any kind of afterlife in general would have been cool.
Just some kind of acknowledgement of what came before. As I feel like one of the things this game is sort of missing. One thing I like about a lot of Artdrink games, this one as well, is that you feel like you could set this up in like MoMA and just like a room all by itself, and it would kind of like fill some kind of niche, like whatever it is. Like you can imagine like some kind of like pretentious types like going into, oh, I love what they did with this. This really speaks to me about the isolation of the human experience. Like whatever, it's Tale of the Sun. But the name even has like some kind of weight.
Yeah, that's definitely
isn't really.
They call themselves Artdrink, and it's clear that they were going for something completely atypical for other games. This is 96. This isn't even like late PlayStation. This is pretty early PlayStation to be like, okay, there's no life bars, basically. You can't tell what's going on. There's no instructions. Whatever, I don't care. Go play out game that you don't really do that much in. It's like, that's a very odd direction.
Survive and die. That is the point. What is the point of life? Imagine it's like made by Werner Herzog, You
would love this game.
Yeah.
All you do is find nothing, and nothingness is all you find. I'm so sorry. I love you. Tail of the sun.
Yeah, so this game is death is inevitable because either you die of starvation, something kills you, or you die of old age. You cannot maintain a character indefinitely. I think eventually you just drop dead, which is somehow poignant.
The good news is you have a procreation stat that you can use.
Cool.
So for me, again, those little things. Sorry, just to get the propagation stat real quick. There's you get the propagation stat, and then it just kind of randomly generates you new cavemen. There's no kind of if you have this one and this one, it generates this one. I don't think there's anything like that. It's just you get a new caveman, they have this face. That's it. There's no kind of feeling of anything progressing onwards. It's always just You get the idea that there was something else they were going to do with that, and they were just whatever. We're going to make Take the A Train 5 or something. It's like.
Did Artdrink make those train games?
They just Take the A Train, right? That was their.
Good for Artdrink. I had no idea.
It looked really good.
The Take the A Train games. Yeah, anyone who can and have the passion for trains enough to make a whole game about it gets my stamp of approval. But I feel like this era of the PS1 was this fun kind of teenager stage of development for video games as a quotes art form, unquotes, because it is art form to me. But then you know people like Kojima say they're not artists, so who knows? And where I don't know how you guys were when you were teenagers, but I thought maybe I'll be the greatest electric guitar player of all time. And sure, I'm not that good now, but if I practice 3 more hours, maybe I'll get there. Or maybe I'm the hottest dude ever, even though I'm ugly right now. But if I just work out a little bit. So there was this, they didn't know that they sucked yet. So they would try to do stuff that they couldn't ever do very well because they had no idea how far the medium was going to go or how far they could take it.
That's true. At that point in 1996, who was to say this was the worst caveman game ever?
Exactly.
You've got the Joe and Max series. You've got the Chuck Rock series. It's
Adventure Island. Does that count?
Or whatever that was.
Yeah, there's so many games this is better than in terms of caveman games. But there was no this is it's pre-Spore, which is the weirdest thing that's ever come out of my.
Spore is
it's pre-Animal Crossing, it's pre-Monster Hunter, it's pre-Pikmin, it's
pre-Black and White.
Pre-Black and White.
All this stuff is in there, but that it wasn't we're making the game that's going to be the next step to the next level of whatever. No, there was we're making a game that's about a caveman. You walk in a couple directions and then you fall asleep and die, and then you're another caveman, and sometimes you have a bird face.
I think they might have, we're speculating on intent, so that always gets in trouble. But just like how LSD, that PS1 game, I think they thought they were really making the next level of avant-garde art game, when in fact it just ended up being kind of a meme 20 years later or whatever.
I think with the LSD game, it really this game. It does kind of sit in a game area where you can say, all right, they were making this and they might have felt we won't know if this is a good game until we finish making it, but we're going to do it.
Right.
The LSD game is kind of this is just, we're doing that.
Guess what's for sale?
It's so hard to grasp what they were going for with the LSD game. It's a series of dreams that someone on the development team dreamt,
LSD
and
is
also
kind of
it's not a game.
We don't accept returns kind of game. It's
well, I mean, you wouldn't want to return LSD if you had it now, because boy, is that game expensive. Thanks, internet.
I mean, but this is the thing about PlayStation era, and Artdrink is one of the, in a way, quintessential PlayStation developers, like the original PlayStation, because they're just doing like whatever. Like, we're going to do what we want to do. Like, we're three dudes. We work out of probably a garage or something. And like, we're just going to make what we want to make. And we can make these like, not immersive in the way we think of it now, but in the sense of like 1996, it's like you can walk through a field of, that's what they did. And
well, on top of this, and I want to talk a little tiny bit about the tech because I don't want to sell this game short. There's no load times except when you die. The whole world is seamless, and it's not an impressive world, but it doesn't load. You go inside caves, you cross mountain ranges, you see a bunch of different types of creatures. The game streams it from the disc. They didn't have load times on this one. They actually wanted a seamless world so you could really get into that like space rather than segmented areas that just like gate you and load you.
Even LSD couldn't accomplish that. Yeah. So
it is very
Monster Hunter still can't do it.
It feels like a game like that is sort of a dam busting moment in a very strange way. It's like, this is a game that would never exist on a Nintendo console. Like, this exists because Sony's licensing was such that you could like cost effectively put out a game where you were a caveman wandering.
It costs nothing to publish this. It's like the development cost, that's your overhead.
Yeah.
And it's going to get printed on a disc and put in a jewel case and on the store shelves, and sucks for you if you bought it, because it's like,
because this is before before Final Fantasy VII came out, before Square was like, all right, the way you make games for the PlayStation is you spend like $50 million and have 150 people make your game. This was before that. It was just
I am pro this. Like, if that's to me is like what makes the PlayStation one of the finest consoles in the history of consoles. Not because of the quality of the game, just because when the hell else would a game like this come out for a console? For a computer, sure, whatever. But like for a console, like a tailored platform experience. You buy a game, it comes in a jewel case, you take it home, you put it in your machine, and what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it is.
Yeah, it's the we can do anything era. Like, there's no filter for consoles of the PlayStation at this point. Like,
right, you don't know whether you're going to get a sewer shark. You don't know whether you're going to get like a X Games. You don't know whether you're going to. You have no clue what you're getting, and they would just do it.
I bought One Piece Mansion new the day it came out because I'm like, well, this is a PS1 game. It's got to be something big. It's by Capcom. It's got to be something good. It's just a game about people yelling at each other and you sometimes destroying their house a little.
I believe PlayStation's the only console that got an RPG Maker port. Am I right about that?
I think 3DS just got one in Japan, but who knows if it'll ever come out here. And that's, that much after the fact.
That's true, right. I mean, it's taken a long time for that. And there's a reason. It's just like PlayStation's like is dirt cheap to develop for. Like, you could have an Artdrink, and Artdrink could just do what Artdrink does. It could Artdrink it up, just
as
dink
they
left
did.
and right. Just dink.
Well, okay, so I mean, this game, if you made this today, it would be on PC and it would probably be built in Unity. That's basically like sort of what we're.
I want my money back. It would be like the Steam refund policy of the game. Like.
It would eventually maybe get on Steam after hitting itch.io for a while. Like, that would be the sort of position that this game would sit in. So it's interesting that this got a widespread release and some reasonable critical acclaim. I do think I didn't score super well, but there were some critics at the time who gave it 7s and were kind of like, I can see where they're going with this. I just they needed to do a little more. And
who were they to
feel like
that this wasn't the wave of the future at the time,
But
so what are we going to
jump into putting this somewhere?
Let's score it.
I'm saying right above Glover, and I have no reason for that.
No, that makes sense.
Fire will get it.
Right, it feels right.
Mm-hmm. I can't disagree with that.
You do like to slip the that's where we put Gomala Speed as well, because that's the weird kind of niche-y stuff that doesn't really.
Well, Gomala Speed hurts my thumbs, whereas Tale of the Sun doesn't.
Tale of the Sun actually kind of understood its controls. They definitely actually.
Yeah, I don't have
followed
crippling
that.
arthritis after playing it. Therefore,
I will say Tale of the Sun is more vaporwave than Gomala Speed.
Tale of the Sun is super vaporwave.
It's a
That's
little more
right.
sea
Oh, the
punk
music
than
in Tale of the
Gomala
Sun is
Speed.
fantastic.
true.
I'm so glad you guys mentioned the
That's
sound.
true. It is a little
Music's great. It's
The music
so
is
good.
like PC music by way of like caveman stuff.
Exactly, it's crazy.
It's
They
like-
didn't just get like generic chiptunes or something. They
No,
have
they
these
bought like a
weird.
caveman sound library and just like tied it into like a 10-key synth and just looped it.
It's so good. I love it. They have, and there's so much like variety. They have like this incredibly hostile sounding tracks that are like you're about to get murdered by a freaking horrifying monster, but it's just in the middle of a field, and like the music just streams whatever it feels like.
Can you straddle the ball centipede?
I didn't wear that one out. I think that I would stick this above Riven, which is not much farther than it was.
I could feel that building up there, like
Oh,
Riven.
above Mega Man Zero 2, which I love that game. That's tough. Oh, yeah, sure. Do it.
Okay,
was
we're
easy.
done. Yeah, done.
Can I say one last thing about the art in this game?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
it really impressed me that at night the sky turns over and there's like a billion planets in the sky, and it just kind of rotates at a speed of like Mach 10, and it's the most insane sky sequence I think I've ever seen in my life. And that for some reason they built Fresnel into the lighting system, which is incredibly impressive to even bother to do that. Which is where the different kinds of light sort of blend around the edges of a character. So when the sun sets, there's that really gorgeous like red-orange glow around things, and it's like, wow, they cared so much about that.
Their priorities were of a certain era that we'll probably never see again.
Mhm.
And there's something magical to that. But you don't want to play it, really, do you?
No, I mean, there's probably some really good
perfect.
fans
I'm
of like,
ending
art
that right
games
there.
or indie
That's
games
perfect.
that haven't played this game that would probably adore it, and they should really check it out
Sure.
because they would probably dig it.